So why are solar cells important, and how soon can it be until you afford them? Today we're going to talk about my personal favorite thing, perovskite solar cells. First of all, I need to give you some context for why solar cells are important. As you can see from this pie chart from the Department of Energy, we have a lot of dependence on coal and natural gas, and a little bit on liquid petroleum, but almost none on any renewable energy. Coal, natural gas, and other petroleum-based products all emit a lot of carbon dioxide, which can be harmful to the environment. Additionally, they're also not renewable, which means we'll run out of them, which kind of sucks. Solar energy, on the other hand, will last as long as the sun does, which, it'll die eventually, but that won't be for a while. We don't have to worry about that. The sun's going to be here for another several billion years, so we can just keep using solar energy until we're no longer even human. So, solar energy is clearly important, but we already have silicon solar cells. I mean, for decades, solar cells have always been the project of the future, that someday we'll all have this clean new energy source. But we've never gotten around to that. Why is that? Well, that's because of the manufacturing costs. Silicon's actually really expensive. Perovskite solar cells promise to eliminate many of the manufacturing costs associated with silicon solar cells. For example, to make silicon solar cells, you have to take a single crystal and dip it into a vat of melted silicon and slowly extrude it so you get one crystal face of a silicon solar cell. This is an incredibly expensive process, and the reason it's currently used is because we already have the computer industry, and computers are made with silicon, so it's really, they cohabitate with each other, you could say. Perovskites, however, can be made by a process called spin coating. You place chemicals on a glass slide, and you spin it around really, really fast before popping it in the oven. You come out with a solar cell that works. You can just shine light on it and have absorption. It's really cool. Spin coating can be upscaled incredibly efficiently, which means it'll be very cheap compared to silicon. Additionally, you need a lot less material to make a perovskite solar cell. Silicon solar cells have 5 basic layers: the electron conduction layer, the absorption, the hole conduction, and then a cathode and an anode to complete the circuit. So they have 5 separate layers, which each need to be reasonably thick so you can get the properties you're looking for. Perovskite solar cells, on the other hand, only need 3 layers. The absorption material works as both the hole conductor and electron conductor as well, removing many of the necessary products for a silicon solar cell. Perhaps coolest of all, though, is the method of installation. So current silicon solar cells mean you get 2 professionals who come up to your house and painstakingly install each solar cell one by one along your entire roof. So you have to pay an incredibly large cost just to get professionals to do this. However, recent research is being done to actually make a spray canister of solar cells so that you could just go up, put a glass slide on your house, spray this across, connect some conducting wires, and have a working solar cell. It's the future of solar energy. So perovskites put together have eliminated manufacturing cost, they've eliminated installation cost, overall incredibly cheap, and best of all, they're incredibly efficient. Looking at this chart from NREL, you can see perovskites over here on the left with an incredibly steep curve showing the rate of their increase in efficiency. To put this in some context, the purple ones at the top are all either multi-junction, which means incredibly expensive, or under high solar concentration, meaning it's not something you would just put out under the sun. So all of these are incredibly high, but ridiculously expensive. They only show real use for aerospace. You can compare them to the blue ones, which are the silicon solar cells that we're used to using. With amorphous silica being at the bottom, which is what's in the cheapest ones, you can already see perovskites are comparable to that. You can get more expensive ones, they'll all be within the blue region. The ones in green are other types of solar cell technology, which has a lot of other faults, so they're not really used that much. Orange is the ones that have all of the research going for them, and you can see none of them are even remotely comparable to perovskites. The first time perovskites were used and recorded on this chart, it was already better than any of the other emerging photovoltaic technology. It'll be something you can buy and its growth put in your house is steeper than even silicon was decades ago. Everyone should have them. They're cheap, they're efficient, they're the future. This has been Abstract Science Knowledge. Thank you for watching. Please rate and subscribe.